What happens when a Hollywood actress turned royal sits across from one of America's most adored talk show hosts, only for the conversation to unravel into one of the most unexpected, tense clashes daytime TV has ever seen? The Jennifer Hudson Show, long known for its warmth, compassion, and easy authenticity, promised just another heart-to-heart. Instead, what unfolded that afternoon was a spectacle of ego, restraint, and raw emotion that left both audience and host rattled. This wasn't just another celebrity sit-down. This was the day Meghan Markle met resistance she wasn't prepared for. The studio buzzed with anticipation. Producers darted behind the cameras, earpieces crackling, while audience members waved their applause cards, smiles fixed, waiting. The stage glowed with its usual inviting warmth, but there was something else in the air, something heavier. Emerged in a dazzling emerald dress that shimmered under the lights, her presence filling the room as always. Her voice carried, confident and warm. "Welcome back, everybody. Today we have a very special guest. She's been at the center of conversations across the globe, a philanthropist, a mother, a public figure unafraid to speak her truth. Please welcome Meghan Markle." The applause was enthusiastic, but measured, more polite than electric. Meghan appeared, posture perfect, her chin tilted just slightly higher than her smile. She accepted the greeting with practiced grace, the faintest curve at her lips. Jennifer rose to hug her. "Meghan, welcome. Thank you for joining us." "Thank you, Jennifer," Meghan replied smoothly, voice warm but controlled. "I'm happy to be here." The two women sat. Jennifer leaned forward, her signature warmth lighting her face. "So how has it been, adjusting to life here in the U.S.? I know it must be a change from London." Meghan's smile thinned. She let out a light, almost pointed laugh. "Is that your way of saying I wasn't welcome there?" The audience chuckled uncertainly, not sure if it was humor or a jab. Jennifer blinked, her smile tightening. "No, not at all. I just meant it must be a big cultural shift, right?" Meghan crossed her legs, her tone cool. "Life is a cultural shift no matter where you are. I don't define myself by geography. Others chose to define me by weather. I was welcomed, some rethought, says more about them than it does about me." Jennifer nodded carefully, the air taut but still civil. "I hear you. Our viewers are just curious how that transition felt for you personally." "Personally," Meghan tilted her head. "Personally, I adapt just fine. I don't live for other people's approval. That's exhausting. Some of us move forward." The tension was now unmistakable. Jennifer smoothed her dress, steadying her tone. "Well, speaking of personal life, people always want to know about you and Prince Harry. How's married life? How are you both balancing family and work?" The crowd leaned in, waiting. Meghan's eyes narrowed. "Married life is wonderful," she said briskly. "But I find it fascinating how people cling to rumors. Harry and I don't need to defend our marriage to tabloids or anyone. Frankly, Jennifer, I'm surprised you'd even ask. Don't you think that gossip has been beaten to death already?" The studio air cooled. Jennifer's smile faltered for just a beat before she rallied. "I didn't mean it as gossip. Our audience just loves to hear about family life, that's all." Meghan leaned back, posture rigid. "Then you can tell them we're perfectly fine. They don't need to read into baseless headlines." A murmur rippled through the crowd. Jennifer drew a measured breath and kept her voice gentle. "Fair enough. I respect that." She shuffled her cards, pivoting. "Now let's talk about your career. You've had such an interesting journey. From acting to becoming a duchess, and now the work you're doing with your foundation. Looking back, what do you miss most?" "About your acting days." For the first time, Meghan's lips curled into a sly smile. Miss, I don't miss anything about it. Acting was a chapter, a stepping stone. But honestly, when people ask me that, it always feels like they're trying to remind me of a time before my life really mattered. Acting was fine, but my impact now is far greater. Jennifer blinked, caught off guard, before laughing gently, to soften the blow. I didn't mean to minimize what you're doing now. Fans just loved your work. Fans love a lot of things, Meghan replied, her tone clipped. That doesn't mean I need to keep reliving them. I've outgrown that. Part of my life. Jennifer's warmth remained steady, but the faint edges of strain were beginning to show. She pressed forward, careful but deliberate. Okay, she said, with a measured smile. Then let's talk about your foundation. What kind of legacy are you hoping to build? Meghan's smile sharpened, her tone lofty, almost defiant. Legacy is about more than ribbon cuttings or smiling for the cameras. Well, it's about redefining what truly matters. And frankly, I think a lot of people, institutions, the media, even entire nations find me uncomfortable because I refuse to play by their outdated rules. Jennifer parted her lips to respond, but Meghan continued, her voice hardening. And if some people can't handle that, that's their problem, not mine. The audience shifted uneasily in their seats, exchanging nervous glances. This wasn't the feel-good Meghan Markle interview they'd expected. Jennifer adjusted in her chair, nodding politely, though her eyes revealed she was recalibrating. Well, she said, with a laugh that carried a subtle edge, you certainly don't hold back, do you? Meghan smirked, tilting her chin upward. Why should I? The camera swept across the studio, capturing rows of tense faces in stunned silence. Somewhere in the control room, a producer whispered under his breath, "This is about to get interesting." And, indeed, it was only the beginning. The applause sign flickered as the show returned from commercial break. But the energy in the studio had shifted. Gone was the relaxed buzz. The crowd leaned forward, bracing for whatever might come next. Jennifer. Hudson's radiant smile remained fixed, but her eyes carried something new, a flicker of steel. She had interviewed Hollywood legends, political giants, and global icons. But Meghan Markle was proving to be a different kind of challenge altogether. Welcome back, Jennifer said warmly as the cameras closed in. We're here with Meghan Markle, Duchess of Sussex, philanthropist and advocate for mental health and equality. Meghan, thank you again for being here. Meghan crossed her legs, her posture regal, chin tilted slightly upward, as though she were addressing not just the room, but history itself. Of course, she replied smoothly. It's important to give people the opportunity to hear the truth unfiltered. Jennifer nodded, her smile unwavering. Well, let's start simple. You've been living in California for some time now. How has it felt building a new life here after so many years in the UK? 'Twas a neutral, easy question. Yet Meghan's face stiffened instantly. Is that your way of implying I wasn't accepted in England? She shot back, her tone sharp. The audience gasped softly. Jennifer blinked. Momentarily caught off guard, but quickly recovered. Not at all, she said smoothly. I was just asking about the contrast, how different the experiences must be. Meghan leaned forward slightly, her voice rising. Because I've heard that before, people making little digs, suggesting I left because I couldn't fit in. The truth is, Jennifer, I chose a better life for my family. It's not failure. That's freedom. Jennifer held her smile, though now it tightened at the edges. Fair enough, she said gently. I think many people admire your courage to make that change. Polite applause followed, but the tension in the room was palpable. Jennifer pivoted, carefully. And how's life with Harry? People always want to know what's it like balancing a high-profile marriage with family life. Meghan's laugh was sharp, almost cold. You mean the gossip? The endless speculation? Honestly, Jennifer, I would have expected you, of all people, not to pander to tabloid headlines. Harry and I are more than fine. We're in love. We're raising 2 beautiful children, and unlike the people who gossip about us, we actually know the truth. Jennifer's smile faltered for the first time. I wasn't asking about gossip, Meghan, she said softly, though her voice carried a firmness beneath it. I was asking about your experience. That's something only you can share. Meghan leaned back, folding her arms. Well, my experience is private. Not everything needs to be dissected just because people think they're entitled to my life story. A ripple of murmurs spread through the audience. Jennifer drew a slow breath, steadying herself. All right, she said, with a gentle nod. Let's move to another topic. Many people admire the way you've spoken openly about your time in the royal family. What do you feel you've learned since stepping away from that role? For a moment, Meghan's jaw tightened. Her eyes flashed, irritation flickering at the mere mention of royalty. What I've learned, she said, her voice dripping with disdain, is that titles and institutions are meaningless if they don't serve humanity. People act like I should be grateful for being part of that family. But the truth is I outgrew them. Their world is outdated. I've moved on. Maybe it's time everyone else did too. The studio fell silent, the air heavy. Jennifer's hands clasped in her lap, her composure intact, but the fray in her patience now visible. Some might say, Jennifer began slowly, carefully, that being part of that institution gave you a platform that helped amplify your voice. Do you feel any gratitude for that? Meghan cut in sharply. Gratitude. Her eyes narrowed. Why should I be grateful for being silenced? For being scrutinized endlessly? Gratitude is a weapon people use to keep women quiet, compliant. I've built my own platform now. I don't owe them anything. The audience gasped again, whispers spreading like wildfire. Jennifer's calm facade slipped for just a moment. She leaned forward, her voice firmer now. All right, she said evenly. Let's pivot once more. There's been some chatter about your Netflix projects. Some reports suggest you requested higher pay for the next season. Is there any truth to that? Meghan's head snapped toward her, voice dripping with venom. Excuse me? You actually think I sit around bartering with tabloids? Netflix recognizes my value. If people want to mistake ambition for greed, that's their problem, not mine. And frankly, Jennifer, I'd expect better from you than parroting baseless rumors. A sharp breath escaped Jennifer, her smile fixed but edged with steel. I wasn't quoting tabloids, Meghan. I was asking you directly, giving you the chance to set the record straight. Meghan leaned back with a scoff, arms folding. The record is that I don't owe anyone an explanation for how I negotiate my worth. Least of all this audience. The studio froze in silence. For the first time in her hosting career, Jennifer's warmth dimmed, replaced by something harder, resolute. She adjusted her posture, her smile fading. Well, she said slowly, that's certainly one way to put it. Uneasy laughter rippled through the audience, sensing the battle lines. Meghan's jaw locked, her eyes daring Jennifer to press on. Jennifer leaned forward slightly, her hands clasped, her presence sharpening like a singer bracing to hit a glass-shattering note. All right, Meghan, Jennifer said, tone measured but edged with steel. Let's take a step back. People have followed your journey from Hollywood to the palace to now. They've seen the documentaries, the interviews, the books. But some feel the story keeps shifting. What would you say to those who think you've changed your version over time? The audience leaned in. Meghan tilted her head, her voice cool, dismissive. I'd say those people are too busy dissecting me instead of seeing the bigger picture. My lived experience is complex. I don't owe anyone consistency just to make them comfortable. If people want a tidy fairy tale, maybe they should watch a Disney movie, not my life. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Jennifer's brows lifted, her patience thinning. Fair enough, she said evenly. But surely you understand why people are confused. You've said one thing in one interview and another thing later. Oh, so now you're accusing me of lying? Meghan cut in, eyes flashing. Jennifer's lips pressed tight. I didn't say lying. I said confused. And since you're here, sitting on my show, I think it's fair to ask what's real and what isn't. For the first time, Meghan's warmth vanished completely. She leaned forward, her voice sharp. Jennifer, let me explain something. When you've lived under constant attack by the press, by the institution, by people who twist every word, you learn that truth isn't about timelines or details. It's about survival. And if people can't understand that, that's on them. Jennifer held her gaze, posture tightening. I hear you. But let me tell you something too. When you ask people to believe you when you build projects around your story, they're going to ask questions. That's not an attack, Meghan. That's accountability. Spontaneous applause broke out. Meghan's jaw tightened. She sat back, voice cold. Accountability. You want to talk about accountability? What about the media machine that profits from my suffering? What about the people who pretend to care while chasing ratings? Jennifer straightened, her patience finally cracking. Her voice dropped low sharp.com, cutting. With all due respect, Meghan, don't come on my show and accuse me of chasing ratings. I built this platform to uplift voices, to give space for truth. If you can't handle direct questions, maybe interviews aren't for you. The studio erupted in cheers. Meghan's eyes widened, her expression darkening with fury. She shook, her head laughing bitterly. Oh, I see. The applause lines, the gotcha moment. Congratulations, Jennifer. You've joined the long list of people trying to reduce me to a headline. Jennifer leaned in, her voice steady but biting. No one's reducing you, Meghan. You're doing that yourself. Every time someone asks a question, you snap. Every time someone tries to connect, you twist it into an attack. That's not strength. That's arrogance. The audience gasped, some clapped. Others whispered in shock. Meghan's hands gripped the armrests, her composure splintering. Arrogance. She hissed. You think standing up for myself is arrogance? No, Jennifer. What's arrogant is pretending you understand my life when you've never lived it. Jennifer's eyes didn't flinch. And what's arrogant, she shot back, is believing that because you married into a family with titles, you're above being questioned like everyone else. The words hit like a thunderclap. Meghan's mouth opened, then closed. Her eyes glistened not with humility, but with anger searching for release. The room was silent, suffocating with tension. Jennifer leaned back, arms folding across her emerald dress, her voice calm but unyielding. You wanted a platform, Meghan. Well, this is what it looks like when you're asked to actually use it. You can't demand sympathy and then shut people down when they ask for clarity. You can't have it both ways. The silence stretched long, heavy, unbroken. Meghan shifted in her seat, visibly rattled but unwilling to surrender. She brushed at the corner of her eye quickly, pretending nothing had happened. For the first time all afternoon, Jennifer Hudson wasn't just a host. She was a voice echoing what so many in the crowd had long felt. The audience erupted into thunderous applause. Meghan looked away. Her jaw clenched, her hands trembling as she tried to hold herself together. The air in the studio felt heavy, more like a courtroom than a talk show. Meghan Markle sat rigid, arms folded like armor, jaw so tight it seemed to ache. Across from her, Jennifer Hudson had shed her trademark warmth. What remained was a cool, unflinching defiance, the look of a woman pushed past her breaking point. The room hushed, sensing that something extraordinary, even dangerous, was about to unfold. Jennifer drew a steady breath, her voice low but unyielding. "You know, Meghan, I've tried. I've given you space to tell your story, to protect your privacy. But every question turns into an insult. Every opportunity to connect becomes an attack. So let's stop pretending." Meghan blinked, lips parting in disbelief. "Pretending? Are you saying my answers don't count just because you don't like them?" Jennifer leaned forward, her words cutting through the silence like glass. "No, Meghan, I'm saying your answers are performances. Carefully crafted, designed to make you the victim in every scenario. You preach authenticity, but everything you've said drips with contempt for the press, for this audience, even for me." Gasps rippled through the studio. Meghan's face flushed crimson. She opened her mouth to respond, but Jennifer pressed on. "You want the truth? Here it is. You're not a royal. You're not a leader. You're not a voice for the voiceless. You're someone who married into a famous family and expected the world to bow. And when it didn't, you weaponized your pain and called it a platform." The audience audibly gasped. Meghan's composure cracked. She leaned forward, her lips trembling. "How dare you?" she whispered, her voice shaking. Jennifer's eyes blazed. "You say you've moved on, yet every word drags the royals back in. You demand privacy, but you cash checks to broadcast your life to millions. And let's be honest, Meghan without Harry's name, without that crown. You'd be another actress with a resume nobody remembered." The words hit like bombs. Meghan's defenses shattered. Tears welled, spilling before she could stop them. She shook her head furiously, her voice breaking. "You don't know me. You don't know what I've sacrificed." Jennifer's voice softened, though the steel remained. "You're right, I don't know every detail, but I know patterns. And what I see is someone desperate to be adored, furious the world won't play along. You can't demand sympathy while treating everyone around you like they're beneath you." Applause erupted, the crowd on its feet. Meghan's shoulders shook as she fumbled with her microphone, unclipping it with trembling hands. "This was a mistake," she muttered. Her voice barely audible but carried by the studio mics. She stood abruptly, purse clutched tight, tears now visible to everyone watching. Phones lit up across the studio, recording every second of her exit as she stormed. Toward the wings, Jennifer remained seated, her emerald dress glowing beneath the stage lights. She didn't chase, she didn't soften. Instead, she turned to the audience, her voice calm, professional, but laced with disappointment. "Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize. You came here expecting an honest conversation, and instead, you watched someone walk away the moment accountability entered the room. That's not what this show is about. This show is about truth, connection, and facing the hard questions even when it's uncomfortable." The audience thundered with applause, many rising to their feet. Jennifer glanced toward the camera, steady and resolute. "We'll take a short break. When we return, we'll continue with real honesty."